Hey everyone, good morning. Can everyone hear me? Yeah, terrific. So they helicoptered me in here to deliver a top secret presentation only for you. You're hearing this for the first time. So yeah, I'm gonna be sharing with you my insider tricks on becoming an overnight sensation. So my name is Tereza Nemessanyi, and for starters, you're probably like, what? I know. My parents were immigrants from Czechoslovakia. They came here with just a couple $100s, and I was born not long after. So if anyone's from there, you'd be like, oh yeah, of course, and then no one else would have an idea. They were political refugees, which meant that they could not speak freely where they were, and coming here was a great opportunity for them. Tiny family, we were very close. My parents worked very hard, and we worked hard too. So here's an example of all eyes on me while we were practicing the piano. Anyone here take piano lessons? A bunch of us, right? My kids do too. At any rate, it was a loving family, but we worked hard. Now, at age 13, my dad had a heart attack, and he was sidelined from his job. And so my mom, needing to put dinner on the table, needed to make money quickly. She needed to kind of find a job. And not being from here, she needed to do what was available. And where we were, what that meant was becoming a Mary Kay lady. Okay. And I was her assistant. And you know what? I followed her around in the supermarket, and I helped her take inventory, and actually discovered that I loved business. Now, all of that said, I have to confess that I was kind of embarrassed that we came from somewhere else, that my parents spoke differently. And so in working really hard in school and in my activities, I kind of try to do what I could to sort of hide that. And over time, I came to Philly to go to Penn. I lived overseas. I came back to go to Wharton, got a big job with a big firm, hit the top levels, and eventually I married Prince Charming. And wow, it seemed like I'd kind of, passed. But despite my own success, something still didn't feel right. And then my life shifted, and that became pretty clear. My parents died actually rather suddenly, and I also had a newborn child. And so being a mother and an orphan at the same time was very jarring, and I was suddenly really very alone. And in this, I realized that I needed to create and create new things, that this was what was going to kind of bring me back to life. In all of this, when you think about it, I needed guidance more than ever, and yet, the people I'd relied on my whole life weren't there to give it. So it was a really hard time. Well, I decided in this that what I wanted to do was enter or re-enter the web world. And to do it, I needed a whole new set of contacts. I needed to learn the world. I needed to learn to speak in that world. So I created a plan, okay? And it started with 100 events. So does anyone think that sounds completely crazy? I decided to attend who thinks that's crazy? Okay, who really thinks that's crazy? Okay, that's a little bit better. So 100 events, yes, it does sound crazy, and it sort of is, but here's the news. You're at one, 99 to go. So you can start big. There are a whole lot of you in this room. And then you go to kind of medium-sized ones, and you start figuring out, where are your people, or where are the people that you need to meet? And look, 100 events doesn't just mean things like this. It also means coffee. It means going out, going for a walk, getting to know new people who can connect with you somehow. So I did that. I literally attended 100 events. Eventually hit a wall in terms of meeting people. And also I live 90 minutes outside of New York City, so commuting is kind of hard. So I started to wonder, all right, this was good, but what next? So I started to look online. Started to read blogs that were of interest to me, and realized that there was really interesting conversation happening inside these blogs, that people were showing up and conversing. So I was like, okay, if I could go to 100 events, I could probably leave 1,000 comments online. Who thinks that's crazy? More, right? Well, you leave one a day and then someone responds to one. You get an email like, oh, someone responded to your comment, or someone liked your comment, and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to comment back. And so you do, and suddenly you've left 10 comments that day, you know? And then like the next day, same thing happens, and like 20 comments later, it adds up. Well, guess what? There's a progression that happens when you start showing up online. I didn't believe it until I experienced it myself, but it's really true. You start commenting, and you do it on a regular basis in just a few places. I focused on 3 blogs, and really on one in particular that was a virtual watering hole for people in startup tech. And when you come on a repeat basis, so are other people. You start seeing each other online in a regular way, and your persona develops. And people start missing you if you don't show up. Like, hey, where were you yesterday? This sort of thing. So you're making friends on someone else's playground. Eventually, your voice becomes clear enough that it starts kind of making sense to create your own playground. So you might set up your own blog and start putting out your own content. And then your friends from the other places start playing with you on your playground. And then it really gets fun because other people start finding you. Other people who you'd want to know who you are. And that's where things really start getting exciting, because you start getting bigger than you. So they're discovering you. Okay, so that was 100 events, 1,000 comments. Now let's really like put it into action. Monday. So I read in a book, think about what you're going to do on Monday. Put in a really simple plan of 2, 3, 4 actionable things that you could do every Monday to kick off the week, and then you'll know that you had it done. So in my case, I decided I'm going to schedule a meeting with one old contact, someone from my past life, to just get in touch. And I was going to set up a meeting with one new person who I'd like to meet. And it may be as simple as getting in touch with them and saying, I'm trying to meet new people and you seemed cool. I'd love to have coffee with you. And you'd be surprised at how often people say yes. I'd say like 90% of the time, people are completely flattered. So you can just decide, you know, who you're gonna be friends with, who you're gonna connect with. And then the third thing for me was I would buy myself a really cheap bouquet of fresh cut flowers and stick them on my desk on Monday. And then they would last me for the whole week, and it was just this, made it a joyful place to be, you know, and not a slog. It could be, you know, whatever you want it to be. But Mondays can be a really powerful thing. Okay, so 100 events, 1,000 comments. Monday, language. When you're stepping into the digital world, you know, Cloud, SaaS, WordPress, Facebook, oh my goodness, like, blah, 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 blah. I know, it can seem crazy. You know, just keep dipping your toe in, try out the tools, use them, see what you like, see what you don't. You'll quickly have an opinion. It's shocking how many people claim to have strong opinions on Twitter, but they don't use Twitter. Just use it, you know, just try it out. And then try to incorporate it in your language. It's amazing how quickly you sort of become net native when you're using the language, but you do need to use the tools. So again, 100 events, 1,000 comments, Mondays, and language. 5th, top secret, okay? Your presence. Be conscious about it. If you're really active online, you're probably showing up in a whole lot of different places. Consider what you're trying to achieve and how you should present to achieve that, okay? That could be somewhat formal My persona is kind of formal. I'm a businesswoman/mom. So I got a professional headshot, that sort of thing. It might be informal or casual, or if you're a young teen, like that's all cool. My recommendation would be decide and make it consistent across all of your different platforms so that when people see you in different places and they start to track you across different platforms, they remember that it's you, right? You want people to be following you across different places. So that can include things like your picture, your ID name, try to make it consistent. Pick what sort of language you use when you express yourself. It might be more casual, it may be more formal, but just try to drive some consistency. I promise you it would serve you well. So I do this across a whole lot of different places. So there we have it. 100 events, 1,000 online comments. Hold on. What was it? Monday. Can't forget Monday. What was the next one? Language. And finally? Presence. Oh my gosh, you guys are good. This is great because I am not giving this in writing to anyone. So you need to walk out this door like remembering it in your head. So action item. Look around you. I don't see heads turning. Okay. Yeah. This is your cohort, this is your group. And I kid you not, when I started going to a few events, like I met Jenny 2 years ago, we were starting to do this at the same time. So we were part of the same path. So what happens is you start putting out your content or you create a tool, you send it to your friends that you met here. And you say, hey, can you read what I wrote? Can you check it out? Tell me what you think. I'd love you to, kick the tires a little bit. Do you mind sharing it with your friend? If you like it, do you mind sharing it with your friends? And by the way, tell me what you're up to. I really want to hear. Because I'd love to retweet it, or I'd love to post it on my blog, or cross-post, that sort of thing. That's how amplification happens. And how many people are in this room right now? Like 250 people? That's a lot of amplification you can do. I mean, serious amplification. So meet each other, and here's how to do it, by the way. Oh, wait, hold on. When you hear the word networking, does anyone get nervous? Or not know what to say? Every single one of you knows what to say when you meet someone new? Every single one? Seriously? Okay, so this is like my special bonus tip, all right? If you're ever talking to a stranger and you don't know what to say, don't tell anyone. Ask them about them. Like, oh, what do you do? Tell me more. Oh, really? And then? And just soak it in, just listen. They will walk away and be like, oh my God, she was amazing. They will remember you. They will think you were enlightening. It's really true. It's really true. So if you're ever at a loss for what, it works great. So ask each other what you're up to. Listen. And then, the thing is when people share, then you start being like, oh wait, I know someone who, then you can actually be really relevant and helpful. So as you look around yourself, introduce yourself. Have a one-line pitch, say who you are, ask what the other's up to, listen, figure out how you can help each other. Connect online tonight through whatever channel works, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, and follow up and start sharing. And if you do, I promise you'll be an overnight sensation as well. That's it.